Live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terry, where we talk about real estate. We'll give people a few minutes to sign in. Tonight, our topic is purchasing condos and townhomes and what some of the differences might be towards a regular purchase of a single-family house. And I also want to let everyone know that June is National Home Ownership Month. So before we go any further, I'd like to read this little blurb to you. Stop throwing away money on rent. Think about this simple fact. When you make a rent payment, that money is gone forever. If you pay $1,500 a month in rent, you will throw away $90,000 over 5 years. On the other hand, if you own your home, you can build equity. So for most people, if you can afford to pay rent, you can afford to purchase a residence. Now, just to recap from last week, if you can afford rent, you can afford to purchase a residence. However, you have to qualify for a mortgage. To qualify for a mortgage, you have to speak to a lender. And you want that lender to pull your credit report and go over that credit report with you. So you can see where you might need to do some work to get your credit up, to get your credit score up, or if you're good to go now. Generally speaking, a 580 credit score is enough to get a loan. If you're not quite at 580, it's quite possible in 90 days you could get up to 580. However, if you have some things like student loan debt, you have some bad credit, some other things, maybe child support payments, those may take a little bit more time, but you won't know that until you speak to a lender. And if you need a lender to speak to, I have 3 preferred lenders I use that are well-versed in working with first-time home buyers and working with people with credit issues. So that's the first step. The first step is talking to a lender. Now, let's talk about condos and townhouses. What's the difference between a condo and a townhouse? Well, a condo is usually in a larger building, and there's a condo association. So you are purchasing your individual unit, but there's also common areas that you help pay for. And there's a condo association board, and there's a condo association rules. Townhouse is similar in the sense that it's usually in a complex. Townhouses usually aren't one on top of each other. They're usually down here, especially, they're oftentimes in a fourplex. Townhouses can be 2 different types. It can actually be a condo that looks like a townhouse, or it can be an actual townhouse. How do you tell the difference? It's the way the property was deeded. If the property was deeded with a lot number, then it's a townhouse. If it was deeded with a book number and a page number, that's a condo. That means there's common areas. Now, why is that difference? Well, why is that important? Because there are different regulations and restrictions for financing a townhouse and a condo. A townhouse that has a lot number is just like a house. So it's financed the same way, everything is the same. A condo, on the other hand, can have a lot of roadblocks to funding. Why would I consider a condo or a townhouse, considering that condos are a little bit more difficult to finance? Well, condos and townhouses are generally less expensive than a single family house. That's important in South Florida and Palm Beach County when housing prices are rapidly rising and inventory is decreasing. It makes it difficult for first-time home buyers to find that first house that's in their price range. So a condo or a townhouse might be the ideal first step. Also, there's less maintenance involved with a condo. Basically, you're responsible for the interior of the building, and the condo takes care of the exterior of the building. Your insurance is generally a little bit less. And consequently, that might be better for you as a first-time home buyer. Now, let's talk about financing a condominium. Up to a few years ago, the only way, well, there are two ways to finance. There's FHA, there's VA, there's USDA, but there usually aren't many condos that qualify for USDA funding because USDA means rural in a sense. So there's FHA, VA, and conventional. Now, up until recently, the only way that you could get financing for a condo through FHA, which is the best financing option, is if that condo was on an approved list that the FHA put out every month. Now, let's look at a list I have here from a few years ago. And I'm looking at a list for Palm Beach County. There are 16 condominiums in all of Palm Beach County that would qualify for FHA financing. Out of these 16, at least 8 of them are near the ocean and in the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 range. So that's not really ideal for a first-time home buyer. Why did that happen? Well, when we had the last recession, a lot of condos went bankrupt. They went bankrupt in the sense that people weren't paying their condo fees. Condo units were getting foreclosed on. The condo association didn't have enough money. So FHA lost a lot of money guaranteeing loans for condominiums. So they pretty much shut that spigot off. However, with the housing situation the way it is now for first-time home buyers, they decided to make it a little bit easier for first-time home buyers to buy a condo or a townhouse. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that it's easy. But it is possible. One disheartening aspect is 70% of all applications for funding with an FHA guarantee for a condo are turned down. Why are they turned down? They're turned down because of the condo association. The condo association doesn't have enough money in reserves. The condo association doesn't cooperate. So the rule that was recently changed is called spot approval. FHA now is allowing lenders to make a spot approval for an FHA guaranteed loan for a condo or a townhouse. Townhouse that is actually a condo. The way that works is the condominium association has to fill out a condo questionnaire, which could be 40 questions, could be 7 questions, and they also have to submit their financial records. They don't have to pay a fee for that. In fact, they collect money for that. If you want to, if a seller wants to sell their condo, then they need to have their condo association fill out the questionnaire, and they need to pay $200 for that questionnaire. So now there is a full review and a limited review for FHA condo financing at 3% down for a primary residence. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated. For 3% down, FHA guaranteed loan for a condo, you have to go through a full review. Full review means the condo association has to fill out the questionnaire, 40 questions, and submit their financial records for the lender to look over. Now, still, 80% of those, 70% of those will be declined. The other option is to go through a limited review as a buyer. The condo association only fills out a 7-question questionnaire. They still must submit their financial records. And this can happen pretty quickly. However, the buyer has to put 25% down as a down payment. Now, you can split that up into 2 mortgages, a first and second. So you could do 10% down and then get a second for 15%. Still going to be 7% more, but 80% of the limited review mortgages are approved. So here's the second part to this. You must use a lender that does underwriting at the time you apply, especially if you're going to try for the 3% down FHA guaranteed condo loan. The reason being, you don't want to pay for the appraisal, which is about $500. You don't want to pay for the inspection, which could be anywhere from $200 to $500, until you know if that condo association is going to pass muster with the lender. Oftentimes you get lenders, especially for condos, because a lot of lenders don't like to do condos because of the high turn down rate. So you want to make sure that you have a lender that wants to work with a condo, and you want to make sure that you get those financial records from the condo association before you go ahead and pay more money out. Because if it's not going to get approved, then there's no sense in paying money for the appraisal and the inspection. And too many lenders do it backwards. They wait until the appraisal is done. They wait till the inspection period is over, and you say, yes, I still want to go ahead with this purchase. And then they'll order the financial records in the questionnaire. By this time, you could be out $1,000 if it's not going to pass. So it's really, you want to trust your lender which way to go, the limited review or the full review. The limited review is best. It has the highest success rate. You're going to need a little bit more money down. What if you don't have that money down? Well, that's where some of these housing programs come into play. Do you live in Palm Beach County, in the unincorporated area of Palm Beach County? Well, then you want to contact Palm Beach County Housing and Community Development, because they have an affordable housing program. Now, there's a lot of paperwork involved with that. That takes a lot of time. So you want to make sure you have a lender and a realtor that understands the process and can keep it moving along. Now, the same is true with the FHA 3% down financing. You can also use these programs for them too. Now, City of Delray Beach, Neighborhood Services, they have a program. Delray Beach CDC, they have a program. City of Lake Worth CRA, they have a program. City of Boca Raton, they have a program. City of Boynton Beach Faith-Based Community Development Corporation, the Housing Finance Authority of Palm Beach County, Neighborhood Renaissance, Pleasant City Community Development Corporation. Now, these are all programs that you can apply for. Of course, they all have income restrictions. they all have income limitations, but in Palm Beach County, the area gross median income is quite high. It's $65,000. So those are your options. Now, let's say you're 55 and over and you want to buy a condo. So you're looking at a 55 and over condo building. Those are a little bit less expensive. Each building is different. You might be required to put 25% down. Once again, you can use these programs for that, or you can also structure it with your lender that you can get a first and second. That's another option. But for the purpose of this discussion tonight, we only discuss primary residences. You can also buy a condo and get financing for a second home or a vacation property. You have to put a little bit more down. It also might be possible to structure a first and second, but we don't have time to go into that tonight. So if that's what you're looking at, please contact me and we'll discuss it. If you have any questions, we don't have a lot of time tonight to answer questions, and a lot of people watch this later on. Send me a message with your question, and some questions are personal and probably would be better addressed in a one-on-one conversation, and I'll try and answer your questions for you. So this is what it boils down to. You want to finance a condo. You only want to put 3% down. You're going to have to go through a full review, 40 questions from the Condo Association and their financial records, and only 30% of those are going to be approved. Limited review sounds like a better option. The Condo Association only has to answer 7 questions, plus submit their financials. You do have to put 25% down, but that can also be structured in a first and second. And you can also use some of these government programs to help you with that. But there's an 80% success rate with those loans for condos. You're going to see a lot of condos in the next year being purchased this way with the limited review, especially for people from up north, New York. There are a lot of people purchasing condos right now from New York City, especially wanting to get away from the pandemic up there and also get away from the high taxes now that they know that they can work from home. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on condos. So if in fact you do want to become a homeowner and you are tired of throwing your money away on rent, a condo or a townhome is probably the way for you to go. And now is the time to start talking to a lender. Give me a call, shoot me an email, shoot me an instant message, and I'll give you the names of the people that I think are the best at working with condo purchases. And I can also send you the list and the contact information for the government programs. So please just send me an email or a message. Remember, it's important whether you're purchasing a condo, a townhouse, or a single family house that you have a lender that does the underwriting at the time of your initial application, because that saves you money in the long run. If this property isn't going to be financeable, then there's no sense going any further. So what would 55 and over, we discussed that. So what are your next steps? Next step is to talk to a lender and get a pre-approval, or at least find out what you need to do to get a pre-approval. So what I suggest is that if you're looking for a condo or a townhouse, find some developments that you're interested in. It's possible that one of my preferred lenders has already done a loan package in that particular development. And if that's the case, then we would already have a copy of the condo questionnaire and the financial records. So we would know right off the bat whether or not that's going to be fundable. So talk to a lender, get your credit report, find out how long it's going to take before you can get credit worthy. Talk to some of the government agencies about some down payment programs. The email that you should use, and it's very simple, is reedgroup, REEDGROUP @kw.com, Keller Williams. Or give me a call, 561-340-9623. Or on Facebook, you're watching this on Facebook, shoot me a message on Facebook or leave a message. Remember, June's National Home Buyers Month. That's next month. Now, there aren't going to be a lot of programs that help you become a homeowner. There aren't going to be discounted loans or anything, but there's going to be a lot of awareness around now is the time to purchase a home. Not only is now a good time because June is National Home Ownership Month, we're also coming out of this pandemic, hopefully. There's going to be a shortage of inventory and there's going to be a lot of demand. So prices for single family housing, we don't know for sure, but usually when there's less inventory, prices go up. That might not be true for condos. And even so, condos are generally cheaper than or less expensive than houses. So last question is, can you continue to afford to rent? Remember, owning a home has tax benefits and it's also a forced savings plan. You're going to pay rent, so you might as well make a mortgage payment. So post your questions here. We'll try and get back to you as soon as we can. Give me a call, 561-340-9623. Shoot me an email, reedgroup, REEDGROUP @kw.com. And I'll see you next Tuesday on Tuesdays with Terry, and we'll tackle another topic on purchasing real estate. Thanks and have a great night.